Hello, I'm Rogers Truax. I'm going to read 6 poems from my book, Looking for the Exit, now available on Amazon Books. Looking for the Exit. Having an argument with the dead, I dismiss the self-indulgent spirit of the age as a narrow platform, a high wire act long fallen into disrepute and irrelevance. Preferring not to watch the news does not eliminate the need to navigate the elusive concepts central to the definition of time. What comes after this is still the question. In this artificial environment, everything is artificial. Sound and silence inseparable. Being and non-being seamlessly interwoven with no narrative drive to stoke the fire. A constant state of being hemmed in makes it a relief to go unrecognized, to pass through surging cities unnoticed. I wonder if the road will deviate or if it is all predetermined, a straight shot to eternity, impossible to change. Rules have no dominion in a world where eyes that see too much cannot be closed. Survival depends on the capacity to shed steely layers of foreboding like snakeskin and dance with anarchic energy as the sun skips in for one last precious glimmering. Instead, I am always looking for the exit, checking both sides of the street, allowing no one to sit behind me, speaking with an older voice, negating any option now in play. For many people, a fall day in 1963 changed everything. The grassy knoll. It all started on the grassy knoll. History lined itself up like a row of dominoes. Glossy black and white pixels of episodic television fell, one right after the other, in a chain reaction, sad as it was inevitable. Godot never showed, and the land was left in shadow. People milled around, unable to make sense of what happened. But when the judge looked at his watch and the executioner began to yawn, it was obvious the deal had gone down, and the world, as we knew it, had ended. In the post-everything era we now live in, documents are demanded to prove legitimacy. Do you exist or not? Let's see absolute proof. I feel contempt for this bureaucratic intrusion, this monolithic nitpicking meant to constrict desire into a uniform cubicle where half of all waking hours are spent decompressing from self-inflicted stress. Eating, eliminating, and flossing occupy whatever time is not dedicated to the frantic pursuit of material possessions. Affluence, so crisp and cool, breeds a strange kind of discontent, an emptiness of spirit, as if having it all only serves to highlight a lack of substance. I feel obliged to be satisfied. But boredom refuels cynicism, making modern alienation a parody of itself. The game is stuck in reruns of urban madness and violence. Each twist and turn just another kinky variation on indifference, despair, and decadence. You couldn't pay a mercenary to fight this war. At the end of the long and winding road, obsession is the motivation for all crimes of passion. What goes around, comes around. Only a square could fail to appreciate the beautiful integrity of a circle. Once, while traveling in Europe, out of radio contact, I made the mistake of flicking on the tube to check in. I witnessed a man in black lopping the heads off of people, followed by what the British announcer called an American race riot. Between beheadings. In the modern era, monuments to murdered innocents line both sides of the spiritual divide, but no one bothers to document the living dead. Conventional wisdom, built on convenient lies, has no answer for how life should be lived when ideals are whipsawed by social disintegration. Economic emergency inevitably ensues, exploited by dodgy street kids selling toilet paper one square at a time. In an atmosphere of unwashed feet, it's safer to stay adamantly out of step, hiding behind a sad, shrug-shouldered apathy. Although moral ambiguity clashes with self-interest, certainty justifies intolerance and the fanatic persecution of unbelievers. Between beheadings and race riots, the chorus maintains a stoic silence, refusing to witness the unforgivable. Seeking to encompass the essential madness in one perfect wraparound metaphor, art fails to include the concept of kindness. While I might, over coffee, enjoy a facile, wide-ranging conversation concerning Chinese culture beset by the cruel ironies of cosmopolitan globalism, it is no longer possible to put imagine on the box and dream of a better world to come. If you question all this, you might need guidance. At the very least, a mission statement. Surrounded by crayon drawings pinned to the walls, I daydream to the drone of daytime TV. Unfulfilled promises pile up like bad debts, and talent, pawned for a few lousy bucks, sits on a shelf, wasted. Age and experience no longer provide enriched vision, merely a despairing dis-ease. Even if I wear old wounds like stigmata in some vain attempt to prove youthful misadventures were more dangerous than stupid, it fails to inspire. Days have an abandoned in the desert quality, begging the question, who would create something so complex, then walk away without a backward glance? The mission statement seems tiresome. Making money is a necessity. Death, a certainty. Beyond that, nothing. Lacking the intellectual rigor for omniscience, I fantasize a Zen garden across the river from the Taj Mahal, where an innocent artist paints an endless aquamarine sky designed for the flight of a single butterfly. Remember the old Greek myth about the guy who flew too close to the sun? Icarus. Trying to catch a glimpse of what passes for deeper meaning, I behave like a thief in an empty house, making guest appearances in my own life. Such clever self-deception produces beautiful sparks, but never a fire. Although dancing backwards to avoid facing the music is a good trick, duplicity is not really a talent. When freedom was the preferred fantasy, I stood on the moon, enjoying the view. Now, lost inside a tunnel framed by urgent question marks, I fear terrible mistakes have been made, since throwing passionate bricks through endless windows succeeds only in smashing ideals into glass shards. I survive by hiding in anonymous shadows. After aspirations fade to nothingness, appreciating an evening breeze must suffice. Not up to the demands of the big statement, I wake in the night to a whispered doubt. Is there a path at the end of the path? The gods, if there were any, would weep to watch what we are doing to ourselves. Even so, howling despair is a complaint without a future. As we all know, Icarus rising always outshines Icarus falling. So how does it all end? With a happy tune. Surrounded by tent city scrap heaps, survival bleeds into mainstream media, making sardonic grins obsolete and privileged outsider pretensions much more difficult to sustain. Trashing the dominant culture is infantile, and standing serenely at the point of no return, listening for the empty echoes of cynicism, will not postpone a nihilistic dead end. When the last credit card goes belly up, it's time to pay the tab. Danger, reversal, and revolution are at hand. Unable to pass go, I am one roll of the dice away from jail, or 10 mind-numbing minutes when bodies splatter all over the sidewalk. No one gets to just say no to the pale rider passing by. If the only game in town is a Ponzi scheme, then the future is as worthless as the past. See you at the barricades, if you got the glands for it. We need pseudo-Prometheans who appreciate knockabout farce and can whistle a happy tune. Looking for the Exit by Truax. Available now on Amazon Books.